The most intense rivalry. Two proud clubs, steeped in history, reared on success.
The double belongs to Liverpool. Manchester United are winners. Liverpool are champions of Europe again. Cantona! The newly crowned champions of England are the new champions of Europe.
It is about tradition, passion, honor, the desire to be the best.
Steven Gerrard, and in!
But only one can succeed.
It's there by Keegan! The two most decorated clubs in English football.
A rivalry unrivaled.
The big player missing for them is Craig Bellamy. He's been outstanding, so they'll miss his pace and energy, but fascinating duel ahead.
Fantastic stuff. Listen to that roar as they come out. Liverpool against Manchester United. None of us can wait to get started. So much more at stake than a place in the 5th round of the Cup. And it's all coming up live on ITV. Some occasion here at Anfield. We'll just had You'll Never Walk Alone. Everyone was joining in, including a little Miss Suarez there, getting the hang of things. Liverpool against Manchester United in the FA Cup, 4th round. Your commentators are Jim Beglin and Clive Tilsley.
No atmosphere quite like Anfield's. No rivalry quite like Liverpool and Manchester United's. No competition quite like the FA Cup for dramatic moments. It's got all the ingredients and a few extra spices thrown in for good measure. Only one neutral on the pitch. Mark Halsey was given this appointment on Thursday when Martin Atkinson fell ill. He's known as a sympathetic referee. He hasn't shown a single red card for well over a year. His traditional patience may be tried once or twice this afternoon. The two managers have done everything asked of them to calm the fever, but not at the expense of the atmosphere and the passion. The message from both has been, let the football make the headlines. It's a fixture that rarely disappoints. Sir Alex Ferguson was quick to divorce the whole Patrice Evra, Luis Suarez issue from the Liverpool-Manchester United rivalry. It was a different argument, investigated, ruled on and acted on independently by the FA. Case closed. Just listen to that. Liverpool voices have not been heard at Wembley since 1996. That issue was noisily addressed here on Wednesday night in the Carling Cup. The tie of the 4th round of the FA Cup underway. Valencia to Welbeck. Swept towards Ji-sung Park. The two most successful clubs in English football. Over 100 trophies between them. But neither has won the FA Cup since 2006. Neither's won it at Wembley since 1999. The FA Cup has been dressed with blue ribbons the last 5 years. Decision's gone against Andy Carroll.
Well, he seemed to have eyes for the ball.
Trouble.
Yeah, I think similarly for Manchester United, the way they're set up, I think you'll see Evra and Raphael, if given the opportunity, will both push on with two fullbacks, and it's a case of making sure Danny Welbeck doesn't become isolated.
Carragher. Maxi Rodriguez. Gerrard has found Maxi in a little bit of space, and De Gea had to deal with that. He had a good game for Manchester United here at Anfield in October.
Well, actually, he had to be smart here because Johnny Evans goes the other way, and that needed to be shut down. And he was stretching there. Good stop from De Gea.
Henderson just unable to link up with Gerrard. Scholes to Valencia. got a cross in, and there's Park trying to set up Ryan Giggs. And it came through a crowd, but Reina saw it all the way and dealt with it.
Well, that's going to be a good battle this afternoon, this one, between Valencia and Enrique. And it's a fine ball in. Very good layoff as well from Park. Knew exactly where Giggs was.
Downing. Evans managed to dispossess Carroll.
I think they've played him well so far. They've been very, very tight to Carroll, not letting him settle at all.
Is Agger getting forward once more? That's the mistimed challenge by Downing. It'll be a free kick.
It was a winger's challenge, wasn't it? Trying to get back to his bit. And Evers just flicked it away, and that is a free kick.
Chris Smalling and Johnny Evans are forward from the back here for Manchester United. No Rooney, no Nani, no Jones. All injured. Giggs with a free kick. And Skirtle gets his head to it. And Downing's able to clear. Valencia just opened up for him, and Antonio Valencia's hit the post. Reina diving to his right, soundly beaten. But the Red Sea just parted there for Antonio Valencia, and his piercing run almost produced the opening goal.
He's a good fella. I mean, it's not the best challenge for Maxi Rodriguez. Should have stayed on his feet. And again, Liverpool back off rather than get a body to him. And he's so unlucky with that because Reina was beating all ends up. Struck it ever so well, Antonio Valencia. Very unfortunate not to see it hit the back of the net.
It's a studied build-up. And Downing has escaped two defenders here and a third, and not Scholes. Ran into traffic eventually, Stuart Downing, after a very promising incursion. Kelly's won it back though. Jose Enrique, that's headed behind by Smalling.
I'll tell you what, I had De Gea scrambling across to his left. I think he felt that was goal bound. And again, he had a little bit of space. Jose Enrique, and he thought, well, why not? And he struck it ever so well.
Like moths around the flame, aren't they? Oh, it's an easy header for Agger. Goalkeeper got nowhere near it, and Liverpool take the lead. David De Gea just unable to see or get to the ball. So many giants around him, and one of them, Daniel Agger, rose highest, and it's Liverpool who draw first blood.
Well, on the earlier corner from that side, we saw a similar tactic. You know, just don't let the goalkeeper get anywhere near it, just crowd him out. And again, Liverpool are successful in dealing with that, and the goalkeeper can do absolutely nothing. I think, to be honest, he should have given up before that because he was never going to get there, and actually clips him on the top of the head after Agger got a good head on it. He clips the Spaniard on the top of the head and finds the back of the net.
I mean, that's how little he saw of it. He didn't even have time to get his hands up and react. But it was a good leap by Daniel Agger, and the man who conceded a penalty in the opening minute of the third round tie between these two a year ago has scored the opening goal today.
Yeah, good leap and a good ball in, because the early one was overhit, remember, and that time it was spot on into that danger zone.
It's his first domestic cup tie in England. They are different. Skirtle in defensive action. Gerrard is giving it away. This is Valencia. It's clipped behind Welbeck, but Giggs will retrieve it, and Scholes will strike it. Carroll. Gerrard will pick this up, and he's got options right and left of him here, the Liverpool skipper. It's Steven Gerrard. It's always just running away from him. He never quite set himself for that.
Yeah, you're right, it was, and I think his balance was affected.
To Scholes, and now Giggs. Rolled into Welbeck. It's a nice idea, but not one that he could execute.
That's a good throw.
Gerrard with a bit of space to run into.
I think.
In towards Carroll.
But, you know, Liverpool look content to bide their time and just wait for a counter-attack or a set-piece, which they've scored from.
Raphael's got away from Jose Enrique here, though. Pull back towards Park. And there's the equaliser. Swept in by Ji-sung Park. Valencia got Raphael clear down the right-hand side. And Ji-sung Park, who headed a winner against Liverpool at Old Trafford a couple of years ago, has scored an equaliser at the Kop end, and it's all square.
Well, could Jose Enrique have done better? I mean, it's a wonderful strike from Park. You know, the fullback is it's not a good touch, and he's allowed Raphael to get away, and you know he's done really well, the Brazilian, to pull it back. And you don't get the time to take that under control in a crowded box. Hit it first time, and he dispatches it absolutely perfectly, the South Korean. But for me, Enrique should have dealt with it.
Oh, that changed Liverpool's approach to this game. Kelly. Now Scholes. Manchester United have made all that possession pay. Valencia. Carragher away. Back though. Well, it's the last action of a fascinating first half. Liverpool are overdue a run in the FA Cup, not beyond this stage since 2008. They haven't been a top flight team since they overcame West Ham in the 2006 final on penalties. Last 8 years, Manchester United have reached 3 finals and 5 semis, but they've not lifted the cup since 2004. It's the longest time that Manchester United have gone without a cup win since the 70s. But with the 70s, I should add. But all square at half-time. Daniel Agger's 21st minute header cancelled out by Ji-sung Park's crisply taken goal 6 minutes before the break.
To get closer to Manchester United, get tighter to them, pressurise them, and just don't let them have it so comfortably.
It's a dilemma though, because they don't want to overcommit. There's a feeling that maybe Manchester United can pick them off here. Park. It's good work by Agger, but Park's got it back. Giggs. It's a tempting cross. Valencia's there. There was a big shout for handball against Agger. He survived it.
You know, and was it handball? I mean, the ball from Giggs is a beauty. You say that corridor of uncertainty. Enrique didn't deal with it, and I'm not sure it's intentional. I mean, it comes off his knee. If it did clip the arm on the way, then not for me.
Not at all.
Type of game. I think the players have behaved extremely well, and I mean, the star from midweek, he was absolutely immense against Manchester City, and to be honest, I was here, Clive, and he got a standing ovation I haven't heard in a long time as he departed the pitch.
Looks like he's practicing his celebration already. There's twice as many Scots in charge of Premier League teams as there are Englishmen. More Irishmen than Englishmen. Carrick. Cut out by Enrique. Liverpool have got a lot of men in this break. Smalling's lost it. Here's Carroll with that handball. Andy Carroll blocked by Evans. Another handball shout. Smalling slices it away. The referee says nothing doing.
Well, I think the thing again here is it intentional, because he tries to play it first time and falls over. Yes, his arm strikes it, but for me again, not a penalty. I think it would have been very, very harsh to give it. I don't think he has any control about what he's doing. Just watch here, he comes down. I don't think he knows where the ball is. I think the referees called it right. Difficult as well at the Kop end, because there was a massive appeal, and some referees might have just given it.
Gerrard's corner towards Carroll's head, and Whistle has gone. Manchester United have a free kick. For them to make a deliberate action.
I think similarly with Michael Richards. I mean, I was here and I thought he just handled it directly. When I saw it afterwards, I thought, no, he was very, very harsh against him.
Carrick looking to get Welbeck clear. Rangers committed. Welbeck's round him and skirtled to the rescue for Liverpool. Beautifully timed run by Danny Welbeck. Not such well-timed run by Jose Reina.
That's a brilliant run and kind of reminiscent of what we saw him do at the Emirates last weekend as well, but very good covering from...
Wandered off the left-hand side and started to find one or two little gaps in between Liverpool lines. It's a two-footed challenge, a low challenge, but two-footed from Maxi. The card is coming out here, I think, is it? Giving himself plenty of thinking time. There's going to be a substitution in the meantime. It's Jamie Carragher's birthday today. I don't think you celebrate your 34th birthday when you're a footballer, but this afternoon is over and Dirk Kuyt will come on in his place. And Liverpool are going to introduce Charlie Adam in place of Maxi Rodriguez. So two of the players who figured against Manchester City in the Carling Cup semi-final on Wednesday, but were rested from the outset today, replacing two of the men who came into the team. The weekend. Adam. Just wonder if a left-footed corner from Charlie Adam from this right-hand side, piled on top of De Gea, might have been a better idea there.
Well, maybe Liverpool want him to come. Maybe they just want to kind of free him up a little bit and let him try and come for something.
Carrick has given it away. Here's Stuart Downing, and it's a body check from Raphael, taking evasive action. And for the first time this afternoon, we needed 20 minutes of the second half play. Out comes the card of Mark Horsey. Raphael knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, he did. He looked at the referee quizzically initially, but, just shifted out of his feet, Downing. And, I mean, it's pretty blatant, isn't it? And I think Maxi's last action in this game was this lenient from the referee. I mean, is that not a red card with what they've said this week? It wasn't his best tackle.
It's 2 feet off the ground. Certainly in the launching of it, and in the final execution of it. And the problem with Raphael is he won't stop tackling. He's a pretty instinctive defender. But Manchester United's first problem is this free kick.
Yeah, well, I mean, back in October, remember, they didn't get the wall right, and Giggs could have dealt with it better, and it's Stevie Gerrard over it again.
And David De Gea behind the wall. It's Gerrard, and it's a good take.
Yeah, I mean, it's very well placed from Gerrard, but, maybe just lacked that extra little bit of pace to actually beat the goalkeeper near post.
Comfortable save. Carrick. Park. Valencia. This is Carrick. Referee allowing play to go on. Michael Carrick shot. It wasn't very far away. Scored with his unfavoured left foot against Bolton a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know whether Reina was unsighted, because he seemed to be dealing with it, and then at the last minute there was kind of an extra little burst. He always had it covered, I think. Had it been just inside the post, I think he would have gone.
Gerrard himself said that Craig Bellamy was the difference on Wednesday night, and whilst the skipper is disappointed to give way, his armband incidentally will be worn now by Pepe Reina. Craig Bellamy lifted Anfield against Manchester City in that Carling Cup semi-final, and Kenny Dalglish is calling upon him to do the same again. He's nursing knee problems. He hasn't started 3 games in a row for the club, so they've decided to use him as a substitute today. Count has found Kelly. Dirk Kuyt. chance to pick across. Ever in the way. Count again. De Gea, easy. Agger up to Bellamy.
And looked a push from Smalling, and looked as if he just bars them.
Mark Halsey concurs. Tense now, last 10 minutes.
It is.
Next goal wins, I think.
And I mean, you know, Liverpool have had a little more of it of late, but Manchester United are getting a lot of shirts behind the ball again and making it difficult for him to get anything in on goal.
Downing has skipped away from Giggs. Crossed in towards Counts. Couldn't quite get enough of his head on it.
Oh, and again, it's one of those situations where he's coming away from goal, and it's always difficult to get the power and the accuracy. Watch him, he makes a run, now checks back. And when you're coming away like that, it's very difficult. But that's what you want to see from Downing. I've really seen an awful lot of that in space.
Raphael with time. Skirtle's got to watch that carefully. Hernandez between defender and goalkeeper, but Reina improvised. This is Danny Welbeck. Skirtle blocks it.
Skirtle should have just let it go. It would have drifted wide.
Still danger. Ryan Giggs, nothing much to his right though. The support is here to the left, and he's asked too much of Ji-sung Park.
But Reina's done that well a couple of times. You know, he's been the sweeper when defence has been up a little bit and anything that's been played in. And he had to come here. And he did well in dealing with it. And Danny Welbeck's shot on the follow was pulled. It was well wide, and Skirtle could have just got out of the way.
He's entitled to believe he can score. As I say, he's got goals in his last 3 games, won a couple of penalties in those games too. Carroll has found Counts! They'll probably win it. Dirk Kuyt with 2.5 minutes to go in front of the Kop steers Liverpool into the lead. The man whose hat-trick beat Manchester United here last season, a substitute today with perfect timing, drives the ball from Andy Carroll's flick past David De Gea, and it's Liverpool who lead 2-1.
I mean, I think it's just really poor defending. I mean, all Carroll does is just win the battle with Evans and flick it on. Everett, for me, gets totally cut out of position. And even with Kuyt's shot, I know he's got good pace behind it. Can the keeper get a foot to that? I think he could have been quicker. Maybe at his best, he probably would have dealt with it, De Gea. But bad goal for Manchester United to concede. A stinker to concede.
At a bad time. Giggs behind you. Craig Bellamy. Here's the man of the moment, Dirk Kuyt. Now Stuart Downing. Jose Enrique. Andy Carroll waits. Off the crossbar. Count! Just wide.
Well, that should have been it. That should have been it. I mean, Andy Carroll, okay, the angle was a bit tight and he nearly managed it, but on the follow-up I thought, Kuyt, all you've got to do is just knock it inside the post. You know, it's not the easiest from Carroll, but there, should have scored. For me, should have. I mean, incredible. We wonder whether we get the big finish, and I mean, it's come from Liverpool and it should be 3 and not 2-1.
Couldn't quite get to it on the half volley count. It bounced up and he couldn't guide it. What have Manchester United got left? Evra, who was somewhat culpable for the goal. De Gea had to try to keep that in.
I'll tell you, when you look back on it though, Clive, Liverpool needed a lift, and the substitutions Kenny Dalglish made in the second half gave them exactly that. And one of them, Dirk Kuyt, looks as though he's grabbed the winner. And if so, what a week for Liverpool.
It's just like the old days at Anfield. That big beaming smile of Kenny Dalglish's is there for all to see. Steered his club, and it is his club, to Wembley on Wednesday night, and has steered them past their old foes into the 5th round of the FA Cup this afternoon. Manchester City are out, and now Manchester United are out, and the survivors will feel that this is a cup to win. Those Liverpool supporters, scrambling for Wembley tickets already, can start to think about another return. David De Gea will have his part to play in the post-match discussions, but it was a goal in the closing moments from Dirk Kuyt that finally settled this one. It's Liverpool who go into the hat for round 5, and it's Manchester United who, like Manchester City, are are left to concentrate on the title race. The scarves are up on the Kop again. The final scoreline at Anfield is Liverpool 2, Manchester United 1. Don't go away, we'll be back very soon with all the interviews.